bracing for damaging winds and flooding brought by Hurricane Lane. The Category 4 storm has prompted the closure of all schools and the University of Hawaii campus. FEMA held a conference Wednesday to urge preparedness and ensure that precautionary measures are being taken. CBS News weather producer David Parkinson joins us now with the latest. David, what's the latest on the path of this storm? What areas should be avoided?
Well, so the concern right now is that every single part of Hawaii is now either under a hurricane warning or a hurricane watch. This is all of them right now from the National Weather Service. There's about 110 pages, and the warning that they're putting out right now is devastating to catastrophic flooding. So that's the main concern with this storm. In terms of what it's looking like right now, it's a Category 4. It's got winds of about 155 miles an hour, and it's about 290 miles southwest of Kona, Hawaii. So that's what we're looking at in terms of where the storm is. It's going to continue to move closer to Hawaii, but we think it will stay just offshore there. And if you, I think they need to click on the screen, by the way, to advance the graphics, guys. But so you can see there, the outer bands are starting to make their way onto the island, and that's going to continue to happen over the next several hours. So by this time tomorrow, the first two islands, that's the Big Island and Maui, are going to be under the gun of some of the impacts of the storm.
And so, David, Hurricane Lane was recently downgraded from a Category 5 to a Category 4. Is that good news then?
I hope it is not going to get people to back off. So it's good news in that we've lessened our intensity. And if you take a look at the track, it will continue to weaken every successive 12 hours. So it's a 4 now. It'll go down to a 3 by tomorrow evening, a 2 by Friday morning, and then a 1 by Saturday. So it is going to get weaker as it gets closer to Hawaii. But just because the storm is weaker does not mean the rain will be any less. It does not mean that the threats right along the coast or along waterways will be any less.
Is it relatively rare for a storm of this strength to reach Hawaii?
It is. So in terms of the history of the state of Hawaii, since it was admitted to the Union, only one time has a hurricane made landfall.
Wow.
So right now it is possible the storm makes landfall, but it right now is not likely. It seems like they'll just dodge that bullet. But here's the thing. It's the topography of Hawaii that's really interesting. It both is the reason why they don't get hit by as many storms, right? They're tiny islands in the middle of the ocean, but also they've got huge mountains. So what happens is you've got winds that are coming around the storm. You've got bands of rain that are coming around the storm in a counterclockwise fashion. Those will hit the mountains. They'll hit Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea on the Big Island. They'll hit Haleakala on Maui. And all of the rain will dump on the near side of that mountain because in order to get over the mountain, it's got to wring all that moisture out. It's got to lighten up the clouds.
So the mountains are helpful in a way.
So the mountains are helpful if you're on one side of the island.
Right.
If you're on the near side of the island, places like Hilo could see 18 to 24 inches of rain. So that's the big concern, is that you'll have all of this rain coming down the side of the mountain into streams, into rivers. So you'll have some flooding there. You'll have flash flooding in places where the drainage can't handle it. So that's really the big concern here that I want people to take away from. Don't worry about the wind nearly as much as you should worry about the rain.
So what kind of preparations should people be making? Should they be evacuating?
If you are on a low-lying area, if you're along a river that tends to flood, it might not be a bad idea. I would heed your local evacuation advice, but here's the thing to know. If you're along the Alawai Canal in Oahu, that's a place where you're going to see the water coming up because everything's coming down from the mountains north of Honolulu down into that little canal. So that's a big concern. Again, if you're in the history of Hawaii, go back to Aniki. They certainly had a ton of rain with that in 1992. If you flooded in Aniki, you've got a decent chance of flooding from this storm as well.
All right.